Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host. And joining me this week is one of my go-to podcast compadres, Mr. Joe Lever.
Mr. Jimmy Good, good to join you here this evening on another Critical Podcast event.
Yes, very true. Also, our other go-to podcast compadre joining us again, Levi Fletcher, here in 2019. Levi, how are you?
What up, guys?
I just smacked my fan. I have a tower fan over here, and I smack it a lot, especially when I'm listening to music, and I'm like, I'm so cool, and I smash it a lot. So
Jimmy's like, new year, new me.
Exactly. Yeah. I say new year improved me because I don't want to be a new version. I just want to be a better version, not a brand new person. Anyway, we're not going to get philosophical and talk about our lives or whatever. People will be like, this is like a life coaching show.
Good day, children.
Is this our first one of the new year? Are we wishing everyone a happy new year?
Technically, last week's was for the Critties, but I mean, this is like our official, like, back into it, not award show. Like, this is just regular old show, baby. Regular old show. But we have
a
new...
Roger these kids.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I do have a new microphone here, but you can't see it. But it is kind of blocking a lot of the screen. So if I'm doing a lot of this, if I'm peering around, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing that. Anyway, for anyone joining us for the first time, we like to talk games, movies, TV shows, music, entertainment, anything, theme parks, stuff like that here on the show. And this week, we're going to start off with a little bit of news for two movies that I know that these guys, well, that love. One of them loves one of them, and we all seem to love the other one. Let's start off with this. Believe it or not, guys, Venom 2 is already in the works. Who would have thunk it? It made a lot of money at the box office, over $850 million. Was that how much it made? It made a lot of money.
Wow.
Yes.
And it felt short.
The movie? Short.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about this, guys.
I know. It was long. It was a long movie, but all the length of it was the beginning when he's just talking and running around. And yeah, not much Venom.
Like every intro starts, all that talking and running around. Set yourself up for that plot, Joe.
Joe's like, these origin films and all that running around and talking stuff I can do without. Get right to it. Make sure Peter gets bit right away. Immediately. That's the first shot of the movie. Yeah, but I just wanted to kind of just throw that out there to you guys. Levi, I know you weren't as big a fan of Venom necessarily as maybe Joe might have been, but are you kind of excited about this? Are you surprised? How do you feel?
I'm not surprised at all. No, it made a killer at the box office, and it was pretty cool. So I'm excited for a sequel.
Sure. Is it like, do you just feel like you want to see Carnage at this point? Is that like the thing? Or are you just like, I just want more Venom and Eddie?
Yeah, I just want more Venom and Eddie, honestly. I don't really care about Carnage at all. Sure. And that setup was super weird.
It's one of the worst setups.
Kind of uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah, it was. And the whole line about like, when I get out of here, there's going to be Carnage. I was like,
there will be Carnage.
And Woody Harrelson's like a really good actor, so it's so shocking to me.
It might be surprising how good Carnage is as a character with Woody Harrelson behind the wheel,
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm sure he's played crazy people in the past, but
Into the Furnace or whatever with Christian Bale. Woody Harrelson is the freakiest villain you'll ever see in your life.
Is it called Into the Furnace?
Into the Fire, Into the Furnace.
Is that the one with like a bunch of people? There's like a lot
Pennsylvania
of
mining town.
Yeah, there's like a boxing thing. And is Willem Dafoe in there or something?
Yeah, maybe. Woody's like the really bad guy, though.
Okay.
Out of the frying, into the frying pan?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Out of the frying pan.
It's Into the Furnace, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I believe you, Joe.
God, he freaked me out. He was so good as a villain in that movie. Ugh.
Joe, for you, when it comes to Venom, obviously you're our big Venom specialist here. Like
specialist, just fan, Jimmy, just fan.
Well, I want to put that on your resume, just Venom specialist. It's not really completely surprising, but after watching it,
I gotta interrupt you. Venom specialist on the resume.
Yeah,
my boss comes to me, Joe, I've been bitten by a snake. You're a Venom specialist. Help!
You're like
wrong type.
You're like. So Venom was actually created in 1956, and they're like, "What is he talking about?" Like, he's a comic book character. He's like dying. He's like, "Please help me." But for you, after you're watching this movie and not actually seeing it in theaters, do you think that you will next time be in the theater to see this one? And again, just for full disclosure here, you were on your honeymoon during the opening of this film, so it was kind of a hard time to get out to the theaters because you're like, I'm gonna go like hang out and not go watch Venom.
Even if we were going to go to the movies, it'd probably be one of the last things Haley would want to go see, even though she ended up liking the film somewhat. She said it wasn't too bad. The movie wasn't a great movie by any means. It was straightforward and what you expected.
Yeah.
But seeing a character as iconic as Venom from the Spider-Man universe brought to light in such an accurate and awesome manner.
Yeah. It's okay to have a straightforward film. It's okay.
Yeah, I think, Levi, you make a really good point, because I think so often we kind of like to rip apart things like that. Like, for me, one of my biggest criticisms for Black Panther is like, oh, it's just formulaic or whatever. But it's a formula that works, and straightforward films still work. And I don't think every film has to be like, oh, there's a big twist or two in there. It's like, no, it's just, here it is. Nothing crazy.
People would have been pissed if they were like, yeah, Venom was created in like this way. And I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, I still wish we could have had like some sort of Spider-Man cross, because I still want to see like the white-chested Venom, like the spider on there. You know, like I think that would be so cool. Plus Spidey working with Eddie and Venom, like, it would be such a cool movie. Like, if they find a way to do maximum carnage in the next one, where the Venom and Spider-Man team up to fight Carnage, I think that would be so cool. I don't know in that time if Sony will make better deals with Marvel to like try to integrate Venom into the MCU, because looking at this movie, it doesn't necessarily do anything to keep it from that. However, it would still be pretty cool. Like, I don't know, are we still all in agreement that we want Venom in the MCU if it could work?
Yeah,
we want it, but it would be weird because the transition would be a little jarring. Marvel has a certain quality to it that the film did not possess.
Sure.
So it'd be like going from like a TV adaptation. I'm about to throw some shade here.
Yes, do it.
I just realized that Venom was like a TV adaptation of like Venom for the big screen. And so it would be like going from like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. quality to, Marvel.
Sure. I get that.
MCU.
I get that. That's true. It's like look at Inhumans, and it's like, oh gosh. Yeah. Glad we didn't see that in IMAX. It was so close, but didn't. Thank goodness.
That poor dog.
Yeah. Lockjaw. Yeah. $855.5 million. Holy crap, that is a lot. And domestically, 213. If anybody wants to take a guess how it did overseas, does anyone? As you could probably guess, you just add that.
Did it do
number.
well?
Yeah, man, $642 million overseas.
Holy crap.
And I love to do this now on Box Office Mojo. That's where I go check all my stuff. But I love to go look at China. And 272 million of that was from China alone. So basically what that says is that China saw it more than we saw here in North America. So yeah, something they did really struck a chord with all of that. And I don't know if that's because earlier on in the movie, they had some of it set in, where did they crash land? They crash landed in, was it Thailand or something like that, where it took Riot like 6 months to like get to the States, somewhere over there. Sometimes they've been setting more movies like that. Was it rated
R?
No, it wasn't. It was PG-13. Yeah. It could have been R. We all wanted R, but it's not doing well enough. It's not, and like, if Disney had it, they could make it R. They could afford to make it R, because they could be like, all right, well, Marvel makes like they make 3 films a year. One of them will be rated R, like Deadpool, and be like, okay, all right. But yeah. Speaking of films, though, like this, where you'd have to transition from like dark and gritty to bright and happy. Let's talk about Aquaman for a second, everybody. Quick, before we get into this, Levi, let us know what you think of Aquaman, because you didn't get the chance to kind of speak your piece on it when we talked about it previously.
I regret all the hate that I put into it and all the shit I talked about it. It actually wasn't a bad film. It just wasn't. I mean, it wasn't terrible.
So what was it, Levi? What was it?
It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
But what was it? You keep saying what it wasn't, but what was it?
What was it?
Yeah.
A steaming trash. No, just kidding. It was fine. No, in all seriousness, it was fine. It wasn't Wonder Woman, and it wasn't as bad as Justice League or Batman vs Superman. So it was, I mean, it's getting back to the right area. It's definitely under Wonder Woman, but it's good for a DCU film. So.
Okay,
DCEU?
so technically they're called Worlds of DC, I guess.
Oh Jesus!
It's dumb because some reporter or journalist came up with the DC Extended Universe a long time ago, and everybody used it. But Warner Brothers came out like, technically, we never called it that, and it was like, all right, guys, call whatever you like. Yeah.
Technically, Soldier 76 is.
Yeah. Levi's coming out. He's got
Gandalf
something.
and Dumbledore are.
Yeah, well, there's an apt comparison there.
Anyway.
Okay, so you liked it. Would you put it at like the second spot then for all DC movies for you personally? It sounds like it might be there.
You'd have to, because everything else is just really bad.
Yeah.
Like, what do we got? We got what's the Will Smith movie?
That would be Suicide Squad.
Yeah, shitty Squad. You got that. You got Justice League, which was okay, barely okay. And I just hate Batman vs Superman. That is the worst piece of trash I've ever had to sit through.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Man
rough.
of Steel.
Man of Steel? How about Man of Steel?
Oh, I thought you said, "Can I steal it?" I'm like, "Go for it, buddy." Man of Steel was okay, but their trailers took too many liberties on songs that I hold dear to my heart. So, Jimmy knows what I'm talking about.
It's very funny.
Man of Steel used like a Lord of the Rings song, and it was just like, yeah. Anyway, Man of Steel, I don't know, it was too long. That intro was like 3 hours long and unnecessary.
It's really great. I love hearing like these we have problems with the intros of these movies. Like, it was a quick movie, but that intro is really long. It's like,
that intro for Man of Steel though was super long.
Yeah,
super long.
I liked seeing Krypton though, like in that way.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. It's like, oh, cool, Krypton.
Is it weird that I still think of Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, all those, and I think of what's her name is Lois Lane, and I'm just like
Amy Adams.
And I'm just like
after watching Arrival,
I almost don't like her. I almost prefer what's his face is Lex Luthor.
Michael Rosenbaum?
No.
Jesse
Absolutely no, Jesse Eisenberg.
I
almost prefer him more.
I'll take Amy Adams over Jesse Eisenberg though any day. Actually, I don't want either. And Amy Adams, after seeing Arrival, and she's also in Enchanted or whatever, she's good. She can play a role. They give her the worst stuff to do in that movie. It's like throw the spear away, then almost die getting the spear back. It's like, it's like, why are you here? Why are you here? Like, it's like, yeah, man. She even runs in and saves Clark at the very end. She's like, it's his mother. Like, he could say it. He doesn't have to just scream Martha. He could be like, save my mom. Like, you Batman be like, I'm save your mother. What, some creepy alien? That's what Batman sounds. But speaking of Aquaman, so Levi, what you're saying is you're probably like maybe second, but higher up, which is good. Yeah, pretty good. Do you have like a score out of 10 you would give it if you had to?
I'd say like a 6 out of 10.
Okay, all right.
A 6
he gave Wonder Woman a 5.5, and he said he liked it more.
What?
I'm kidding.
No, I was like, I definitely gave Wonder Woman like a 9.5 out of 10.
Well, because in the theater, this is why it's hard to go to movies with freaking Levi. He'll lean over halfway through. He'll be like, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It'll be like one thing. Like,
it's mostly to be like funny because like it'll be something stupid that happens that I know that Jimmy's gonna hate. Like,
no, it's usually what's
Jesse
that
Eisenberg comes out as Deadpool or what's his name, Deathstroke, and you're like,
that was an after credit sequence, and I almost ran up and like kissed the screen, but then Jesse Eisenberg was there, so I was like, I was having like a heart attack. I can't do this. It was like I've never had a 10 and 0 moment in my life like that.
Cannot compute.
Yeah, I really couldn't. I was like, I saw like the tassels of his like mask, and I was like, no. And it was like the ship, and I'm like, oh, this is a bad thing, isn't it? It's Lex. And then I was like, oh, good God, don't do this to me. I want to talk about Aquaman just briefly because crazily enough, it is approaching $1 billion.
Darn freaking right it is.
Which would make it easily one of the most successful films for the DC franchise so far. So basically, it's made $266 million here in North America, made 696, almost, they're very close right now to hitting, as of this recording, $700 million domestically. Do you guys want to take a guess where most of that money comes from? No. I'll just say it. It's China again. $284 million over there in China.
I don't know that it's necessarily the appeal To the Chinese, I think it's more so just the population.
It's that, but they don't care about Star Wars though, which is really interesting because like Star Wars doesn't. Yeah, Joe, I know you're like, who cares? But Star Wars doesn't track as well over there. But like, it's crazy to me to see how the trend of this and Venom. It seems like what the market is saying is like they want the weirder, wackier stuff like this. That's the stuff that does really well, like which is crazy.
That's funny. I mean, but it still doesn't guarantee any type of sequel. Like the Chinese couldn't save World of Warcraft. Like they tried.
I know it's close. I don't know if it's like completely gone at Levi, because you're totally right. Because it was like it did really well over there, and I was like, oh come on, give me the Arthas story, give me Arthas, and it's like,
and I don't think we're ever gonna see a sequel. It's just like Aragon. It just did so poorly that
Aragon?
Don't worry about Joe. It's a movie based on a very popular book series by this Christopher Paolini. It's like
that was butchered.
Dragon Riders. Yeah, it was a really bad movie. I remember watching it with friend of the show Leo back when we were younger, and there's this really horrible ending where the kid falls off the dragon and he ragdolls for like way too long.
I know what you're talking about. Hold on. Yeah. My dad and I were traveling for a motocross race. I remember we had a night to kill and we went and saw a movie, and that was all there really was to see. We were sitting there watching it, and about 20 minutes in, we got up and walked out.
Wow.
Only movie I've ever like literally got up and walked out of.
Underrated video game though. It's pretty good co-op.
The books are fantastic and really, really do a good job of painting like a story and a picture and but they were butchered, they were murdered.
I read the first book, I really liked it, and then I just checked out of the second book. Like the first book was super good. Anyway, I just want to bring that up because I think it's incredible that the market is starting to like. I think we're starting to see more and more movies do this. We've seen it with Transformers. We saw it with like the Meg because they set. It's so stupid. In the beginning of that movie, they set it like a little piece of it in like China somewhere or Singapore or something like that, and they just show it, but then they just show a helicopter flying away from it, and then they're like 120 miles off the coast of it. And I was like, so you just shot the city, and they're like, nope, moving on. Like it's like it's set near China or whatever. It's like so. I don't know. It's interesting though to me because Aquaman is a really crazy movie. Like you think about the other DC movies, like this one does so much and it's so wacky and colorful. And I think that really responds well with a lot of people who love this sort of thing. And clearly the foreign markets are eating it up. Like seriously, like that 600 and whatever million for an overseas, that's a lot of money.
There was a lot more buzz for it than I was expecting. I thought that it was just going to be kind of like a slow kind of sleeper hit for December, and it turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, and it came out, I think it would have done even better because it came out right around Bumblebee, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So Bumblebee came out the same day. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, I think, a little bit before that. Then Mary Poppins also came out around then, too.
Yeah, all these movies I had really low expectations for. Bumblebee apparently is doing bonkers.
People like it a lot, yeah.
People are saying it's really good, and I'm like, I didn't like the last 5. And then people are like, nope, you need to go see it. It actually is really worth it. And then people are saying Spider-Man is like a godsend. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I still have to see that one. I feel bad, Levi, because like remember when we saw Venom and there was like that little like 3 or 4 minute interlude of the movie at like the end credits kind of thing. I was like, that like made me angry, and so like I just did not want to see it. I was like, no thanks.
Did you see Bumblebee?
I didn't see Bumblebee. So Bumblebee's not doing as well. It's made 307 million, which is that's still, I mean, very good, but at a production budget of 135 million. So they're doing okay. But it's only made 100 million here in the States, which I mean, just for people who kind of keep track of this stuff at home, typically a Marvel film usually makes that in its first weekend, and that's not including Avengers. Even I think Godzilla made like 90 or 93 million in its first weekend. It's just the problem is with these Transformers movies, it's kind of like DC a little bit. It's like if they make a good one, there's so many people who are pissed about the first or the last 2 that they saw, and they're just like, I'm not going to see it. So even though this movie might be really good, I think a lot of people are like, I'm not interested anymore. And yeah, none of us have seen it. Like Joe, I think out of all of us, you might be the one just, who would enjoy this more so just because of the car aspect and stuff.
Bumblebee's a freaking loser. He turns into the worst cars on earth. Are you kidding me? The old Volkswagen Bug, then he turns into a Camaro.
Hey, Camaros aren't that bad, man. Come on.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, it's like, I don't know. If you wanted to, like, I would think a Decepticon turned to a Mustang just to get destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, left, bam, and just explodes. And just...
His left was a joke about the badass tail lights that Mustangs have.
Yep, it wasn't a weird like stutter
The
joke.
sequential tail lights.
Yeah, so clearly
I miss my Mustang.
I
It was
wonder
a great car.
Bumblebee hadn't
so
done
great.
it the same day, if it would have done better. And if it would have been just Aquaman would have gotten to 1 billion
Dude,
a little bit.
people are over Transformers. They got burned on the last 2 movies, and only the second and first one were any good. It's over. Give it up.
That's what I think about Pirates of the Caribbean too. People are
Yes.
not going to be into it.
I feel like we should do a whole show about like the rise and fall of both those franchises, and just like, even though they're both still very commercially successful, how their critical acclaim has just shot downwards. But it's so interesting to me because Joe and I talked about this, Levi, when I don't think you were on this one, but how Star Wars, The Last Jedi, critically acclaimed, audience like seemed to hate it, but then Venom was the complete opposite, where critics were like just ripping it apart, but the audience score was like really high, and that's why it did well at the box office, because people were like, hey man, it's actually pretty fun, like just go see it, like it's Halloween, go freaking see Venom. And you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the next Venom come out around that time too. But Aquaman 2, obviously going to be something that's in the works. Do we want James Wan back for the director?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe cannot have that hairstyle again.
I don't think it was his choice. I think that was they just had to, it's underwater, man, they had to pull it back. It's like Orm, he had his little...
He was cool, but he was just very like shoehorned in, I feel. So
maybe.
Oh, yeah, it didn't need to be a big name guy.
Yeah,
I wanted him to be, though. I wanted him to be a bigger character.
I want a Green Goblin origin story with Willem Dafoe in it. I just bring him back. I know it's the Raimi stuff, but he was such a good Norman Osborn. Oh, friggin'. Do you know how much I sacrificed? Like, oh, God, it's so good, dude. So corny. I love it. All right, anyway, that's enough. That's enough for news. All right, guys, we're done with news. I'm sorry, we're done talking about it. But basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to talk a little bit about the future. Yes, we're going to talk about some games we're excited about coming up here, and it sounds like most of the ones we will be discussing here tonight will be in the first couple of months of 2019, because it seems that like every year now, there's just games coming out, big games every month, forever and ever and ever and ever. So yeah, we'll talk about these games a little bit here, and you guys will have to let us know which games you're most excited about, because a few of you did on Twitter, but we will get to that in a little bit. But before we get to that, let's take a little break here for a second to enjoy a cold, cool, refreshing Canada Dry. Definitely not sponsored. I wanted to take this away from Joe.
No, you gotta drink it with the label facing out.
No, how am I supposed to do? What, like this? Like,
get a straw, man. You gotta get a straw.
How refreshing and wonderful.
You did it. I feel like my son just was christened, or what's the word?
What is he, like a ship?
I don't know, but it's so touching.
Levi has disactivated from.
I'm excited for
Jimmy. I'm so proud.
Thank you. I saw this the other day, and I was like, oh, I should probably bring that for the show. And I still am waiting for the nice people at the Dr. Pepper Canada Dry Snapple conglomerate to get back to us. So if I see a big crate of it here soon, then you'll know that we've done it. Which is funny because I just sent it to Joe. Anyway, let's start with Levi. Levi, hit me with it, baby. What's the game that you're most excited about here in the beginning of 2019?
Okay, so coming this month, January 29th, we're finally, after 13 years, we're getting a proper follow-up to Kingdom Hearts. And I'm very excited. It looks really good. The graphics are looking bomb. Definitely a step forward, and it's looking really fun.
So, question for you. What is Kingdom Hearts?
So Kingdom Hearts is a mashup of Disney and Square Enix, put them together, and you get this beautiful story of a protagonist named Sora, who's on a search to find his friends who had their hearts stolen.
Whoa. Sounds heavy.
It does sound heavy.
This is the third one in the franchise. Is there only 3 of them?
Oh God, no. There's like ones for, your like iPhones. There's ones for your like 3DS, DS. Like there's a Kingdom Hearts on every platform. But and they're all prequels and sequels and recoded, and just it's a long list of games that are out there. So
we need to know your favorite character from Kingdom Hearts.
Mickey. I do like Mickey. He comes in, he's pretty BA. No, I like Sora. Sora's, I don't know what it is. Sora just has like this cool, charismatic personality. So
he's basically Hot Topic's mascot, right? There,
yeah.
Skellington. The two of them together just keep that store alive. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3, man. That's a game that's we've been waiting for it forever, it seems like, because I remember playing 1 and 2 back in high school and then kind of thinking like, all right, where's 3? And I was like, we're going to make everything but 3. And I was like,
which is really weird because it's not like Square Enix to leave us waiting for years and years. And Final Fantasy VII Remake, years. And
all that stuff. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, question for you though, because like they're kind of switching out the summons this time around, and they're gonna put in like Disney attractions. And for someone who was just
theme parks,
it's like, what do you think about that? How do you feel about the whole teacups and stuff?
I'm gonna beat your ass with some teacups.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny.
I don't know. It's zany. That's why like it looks pretty fun. Yeah, I'm down for a switch just because I think the summons are they've been done. We've been there, done that. They've been in almost every single Kingdom Hearts game, so I'm glad to get something new.
Sure. Is there any world that they have not yet announced that you just either A, think will be in there, or B, you just want more than anything else?
These fucking kids all over the internet are just spoiling everything. I don't want to hear about all these worlds that I like. I wanted to be a surprise.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for like Big Hero 6. I don't really care about Frozen anymore. I used to, but Frozen does look cool. I don't know. I'm sorry. What was your question? I got a little angry.
What do you think is either something that hasn't been announced, either you think it's going to be in it for sure, or one you just wish was going to be in there?
God, I'm trying to think of something they haven't done before. I feel like they've touched on every world, haven't they?
A lot of their classic stuff and more of their modern things too, but a lot of people are like, oh, they should do Star Wars, oh, they should do Marvel, like, or should they do something like really like, like specific, like Robin Hood, where they're like, do the Robin Hood.
Yeah, I'm interested. That'd be interesting to see a Marvel mashup in there too. I don't know if they could pull something like that off, because then it gets very like Disney Infinity.
Sure, you're right.
I'm getting nervous about that.
I love you, Disney Infinity.
Did we ever really get like a proper like what's the place called in Pride Rock? Like, what's the name of the?
In 2, you go to the. I think they call it the Serengeti.
Okay, is that in like the second one? Because it's not in the first one.
You actually turn into a lion and fight with a keyblade like in your mouth. Like
okay, I'm replaying the first one right now, and my God, the camera is so bad.
Yeah,
it's so frustrating.
It's very rough, especially when you get the glide ability and. Yeah, it's not a forgiving game, that first one. The second one is way more smooth. It's very smooth. This one seems to be a lot like the second one as far as combat goes.
Yeah.
Cool. Joe, I know you're kind of on the outside looking in on all this. But for what you see, you got Mickey Mouse carrying a big key and beating monsters to death with it. Is that appealing to you in any sense?
Probably shouldn't say no, because I mean I thought Overwatch looked a little zany and odd, and there I was addicted to that for 2 years. So I don't know. I know Kingdom Hearts has been around for quite a while, but it's never been something that really appealed to me too much.
Sure. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, but Joe, like it's like you're recounting like a drug rehab. Like I found that white powder, and there I was addicted to that for 2 years.
I stay away from that. I hate those vibrant and colorful games. It's a drug.
I love you, Joe.
That's okay. I appreciate your candor. Plus, it's it's a single player thing. I don't think there's any co-op or multiplayer that I know of yet. Even though I wish there was co-op.
Please no. Loot boxes.
Oh my gosh, that'd be horrible. They're like, if you want to get Mickey on your team, it'll be $9.95. 5 easy payments and $9.95. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been like, I was a really big fan of Kingdom Hearts, and I pushed myself away from it. I have a Kingdom Hearts 2 poster right here to prove it. But I just like stopped looking. I saw the trailer announcement, and I was like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm really excited about these games. I played 1, I played 2, I played Dream Drop Distance, Fragmentary Passage, all that stuff. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay away from it because there's all these stupid trailers coming out. It's like a Marvel movie where they're like showing all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to see this. I want to just go in the world and just have it be fresh and be like, oh my god, they're doing this world. So I'm still hoping there's a few like that because there's a lot of Pixar. It seems like in this one, I'm not a huge Pixar fan, so like some of that stuff I would.
But that's the appeal. That's you know. I want to just take a brief minute to talk about Utada Hikaru. I don't know if that's how you say her name. When you hear her voice and you like immediately you are pulled into Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. It's so crazy. Yeah. You hear her and it's like, holy shit. Like all those feels come back and you're like, Simple and Clean, Sanctuary, bangers. And now she's got a collaboration with Skrillex and it's like, modern banger. Okay, like that's what it is. So this new song for Kingdom Hearts 3 is Utada and Skrillex combined to do Face My Fears. So good.
Okay,
that's a song. Yeah, listen to it again. It's a banger.
Scares me a little bit when Skrillex is thrown in the mix. I don't think she needs Skrillex.
No, but he just does the beat. It's not like Justin Bieber's like, where are you now? Like, like it's not like
sword got the beat.
But I mean, you know, I don't doubt Skrillex's ability to produce good music. I mean, he did the soundtrack for Wreck-It Ralph 1 and 2. So yeah,
I can see where.
Anyway, we're diverting, but she just pulls you in, and yeah. I'm excited.
Give me that Moana world. I know they have Tangled. Give me Moana.
Oh yeah, Moana, that'd be good.
See, I like the Disney Animation Studio stuff. I like more of the kind of like fairy tale, like vibe.
Give me a Song of the South.
Oh my god, dude, so good, so funny, man. Oh my god, if they did Brer Rabbit and stuff, I'd be like.
After coming back from Disney, I've like looked up the California version of that ride and like just the song. I just like watching the video over and again just to hear the song.
Which the California.
No, not from California, but I mean, I did watch that just to see the difference. But that song, the Zippity Doodah, like it's just it's mesmerizing.
It's good, man. It's very good. The California version, by the way, of Splash Mountain, a little scarier. They do sing a little song about Brer Fox. It's terrifying. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3, man. January. I can't believe it's just a few weeks away. It's like, oh my gosh, finally can like wrap the story.
I get what you're saying though, because like, you know, we were huge fans of it back then, and then there was so many sequels and prequels out since then on so many different devices. I feel like a lot of fans were disconnected because they're like, well, shit, I don't have a PSP, I don't have a Game Boy Advance, I don't have a 3DS XL GT100. Like, I don't have all these things to play all these games, which is really cool that they've taken this like complete collection for PS4 and everything's in it. You can play everything right now. Yeah. Recoded and everything. So
yeah, no, is it only for PS4? Do they have it for Xbox?
It's just for PS4. Yeah,
I get that.
I mean, I'm not saying that's why I bought the kids a PS4 for Christmas, but
yeah, I know it is coming to Xbox, which is kind of a cool thing, and I'm hoping that, you know, if they make more Kingdom Hearts in the future, that it's just cross-platform because everyone should get to play this crazy madness, ripping these heartless apart and trying to save your friends. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts, also, like you said before, it looks gorgeous. It just looks beautiful. It's like, it's so pretty. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, man, I'm stoked. I'm excited for it.
And Joe, just a little bit about the appeal. I mean, you've got a character who's very, very well liked, and he's running through, like, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, and people eat that shit up. Yeah. And he's running through the Big Hero 6 world, and he's running through Tangled. And people love it because you get to go in those worlds of, like, these beloved Disney stories and meet the characters and, you know, help them out. And yeah, I mean, like you saw from the trailer, I don't know if they showed the Pirates of the Caribbean thing on there. He's like, you know, they're doing the battle and stuff, but
like Winnie the Pooh, man, that's all you got.
Winnie the freaking Pooh. Like, say less.
Love him so much. Oh my gosh. It'd be so great if at the very end, like, Sora's about to be cut down by Xehanort or whatever, and or whomever the bad guys, and then just, like, a little yellow hand comes out and catches the sword, and he's like, "Oh bother," you know? Just, oh my god, like that.
Tigger mauls all of them.
That would be that's the ending I want. I want one where you're just like, what? And Cloud's like, I got some help. And, yeah, Tigger and everybody shows up. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, so excited. All right. Let's move on. Joe, you got a game that Levi didn't really know too much about before we started talking about this tonight, and a few people don't necessarily know about it, but it's one I'm hoping that does pretty well. I hope it plays as well as it actually looks. Joe, what's your game here? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, Jimmy, I got a game that I think everybody should be amped for. I don't know all the ins and outs or tricks of the trade, so to speak, on the game yet. I know there's a lot of information out there, and they did some game playthrough from the two producers, kind of showing off some of the loadouts and equipment and things that you can equip and customize on your Javelin, which is the Iron Man type suit that you can take control of and run through this kind of open world. I would call it very Gears of War-esque environment, right?
Yeah, sure.
When I watch it, I kind of get reminded of that, like especially with that multiplayer in Gears of War 4. You're kind of running through that storyline, and you're running into like hordes of kind of creatures or monsters that are kind of spread throughout the environment. So that's kind of the vibe I get. So you're a pilot, kind of Titanfall style, but instead of just like cool abilities, you get this Javelin suit that's essentially almost like the Titan from Titanfall, just not as such a big scale. So for something to compare it to.
We're talking about Anthem, by the way. I don't know if we dropped the name yet.
Did we not drop the name?
At the beginning, you're like, it's a game that has this and this. I thought I was like, oh, he's building up to the name.
I'm building up to the name. It's Anthem. Cue the music. What's the song? Anthem by Good Charlotte?
United States.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
The first day I play the game, that's the song I'm going to play, Anthem by Good Charlotte. Anywho, so you get these javelins to pilot. And they have these different abilities. Each one has special characteristics, and it's very geared towards team cohesion, I think. In the same way a Ghost Recon or something would work. Each javelin has its own set of attacks, different combos it can do. One has freeze grenades, one has a more tanky feel where it can get in up close and create wall barriers and blow people up and really do crowd control, so to speak. Others are more swift and snipey, kind of like a Genji from Overwatch. And then others are, what's the word? Almost the one immediately when I see it, Storm, right? Is the name of it, Storm. And it reminds me of the, Destiny character.
Warlock, yeah.
The Warlock. Yeah. That's what it reminds me of.
Warlock.
So Storm is kind of that style. Interceptor is the Genji style character that can like get in and close, but also range, and do a variety of different things. Kind of your annoying character, so to speak, for the enemy.
Yeah.
The other class, the one that I was talking about, that's your crowd control up close and really, kind of tanking it up, is the Colossus, and then the Ranger is the kind of the versatile option, the one that can build up some good lethal combos and work well with the team overall. So I call that the glue between the pieces, that holds the team together. So it's a sexy game. I mean, the design and the graphics and the quality is impressive. And then the customization, any game that has customization for, especially of this style where you're, the functions you're doing and when you have like kind of a focal point being the Javelin, the customization really amplifies that, what's the word? Your affinity for the character in the game. It amplifies that really well. So I'm all about it. I don't know if there's too much more to be said, but man, it comes out in February, I believe, and I've already got the money sitting on the counter.
Yeah, for sure. Levi, like I said at the beginning here, while Joe was kind of discussing all of this, you haven't really seen too much of this game until this evening, for the most part, right? Did you know about it beforehand, or is this the first time you'd heard of it?
No, I knew about it before. We've talked about it on the show before.
Okay.
And this is BioWare.
This is BioWare.
Yeah.
So that makes me a little nervous. I was not a big fan of Dragon Age Inquisition or what did they do else that kind of disappointed me? Star Wars. So I'm
Sure. Oh, you're talking about Old Republic.
yeah, yep. So I mean, everything I've seen is just like insane. I think I even chatted to you guys earlier, and I was like, "This is in game." I have to keep like checking to make sure like this is in game and not a cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
It looks beautiful, 100%. It looks really smooth. The combat looks really smooth, which makes me nervous. I need to see it to believe it.
Sure,
I need
yeah.
to feel it to believe
Yeah,
it.
is it running on like a PC that's really nice?
Yeah.
Running on a PS4 Pro or Xbox One
Like,
X?
do I have to get an Xbox One X? Yeah, and I bet I do.
Yeah.
But it looks really fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it takes like kind of the teamwork and the complementary team building of like Monster Hunter and amplifies it times 10.
Yeah.
You have to spread your focus over a larger area and there, more targets. So I think that's pretty cool. And it also has kind of the customization, maybe not as much, but kind of the customization vibes of a Monster Hunter. Because you get like loot drops and stuff. It's different. It's not like you're collecting monster parts, but you're getting loot drops as you kill and progress through the missions. So I think that's cool. But...
Yeah, I'm gonna release a little bit of knowledge on you boys, because guess what? I've been researching this thing like crazy, because I've been like, I'm gonna learn a lot about this right now. So I'm excited because Joe, you put it super well right there. It's got that Monster Hunter-y vibe, but there's a little more kind of emphasis on the different classes, the 4 of them, the Colossus Ranger, Interceptor, and the Storm. Now, here's the fun part. You talked about the combos, Joe. And yes, there are those combos, but it comes in kind of like 2 varieties with these abilities they have. Because you have like your regular guns and stuff. By the way, Colossus is the only one who can use like the really big guns. You can't use like the SMGs or the pistols, I guess, because you're too big. But your special abilities, they kind of come in 2 varieties as insofar as like combos go. So there are like primers and then like poppers, as it were, or they pop off. So, Joe, you talked about that freeze grenade. That's like a prime, like it's like, hey, I'm setting this up. There's like an alley-oop with a lot of these things. So you are like, I'm going to freeze everyone, and then Joe is going to use a mortar cannon and blow them all up, and it'll say like combo, and it's like, that's really cool. Because you yourself, I know some of the classes have the ability to kind of have like a primer and a finisher ability like that. But some of them don't. So it is really dependent of saying like, hey man, Joe, if you want to be the Interceptor and I'm going to be the Storm, and here's how this works for the Interceptor, what it does, one of the coolest things, that it is kind of more melee focused. But if you get in there and I freeze a bunch of people or whatever, you'll get a frost aura around you that can spread to others, or if lightning or a fire or whatever it may be. So it's like a lot of that say like, hey man, if you want to play this class, then I'll play this class, because it'll pair super well with that abilities, like these abilities we're trying to do together. And I think that's really cool. I think that's so cool, because it's like, okay, you can have that, or you can have the Ranger who kind of does everything, but like focuses on like high single target damage too. I guess that's kind of one of their things, but it has that ultimate that kind of like fixes that, because it can target multiple things and shoot off a bunch of missiles, like, which is really cool. And you can even shoot those while you're flying around. You can like shoot all of them at like 10 different guys or one dude. So if you're fighting a boss, you can just be like target them up and like that. Or you got the Colossus, who his special ability pulls out like big super giant gun and can shoot off basically like 3 nuclear blasts. Like he shoots them to like mushroom cloud and stuff like that. It's like,
wow.
and it's so cool, because like you have that, but you also have like you have like an arm cannon thing, and you have like a shoulder mounted thing. So these javelins, besides the crazy customization you can do with the actual colors and patterns and everything on them, they have this like thing on top of just the regular weapons, that your armaments that come with them are going to be specialized. So you're going to have like your wrist mounted thing, like a shoulder mounted thing, another special ability, your ultimate ability, like we just talked about. So there's so much going on there, and kind of like masking the fact that it's like an old school kind of RPG with like a wizard, a tank, a warrior, and a rogue, but being like, but they're all in robot suits, like in exo, like mech suits. Like that's so cool. Like, and taking on all these groups together, and hopefully the story will be good. I know we never talk about this sort of thing for this game, because it's going to be first person in Fort Tarsus. You're going to be walking around, there will be a story there, and BioWare is usually known for having good story. So I'm hopeful that's good, but obviously like Destiny, it's kind of like, you know, flipped there where the first person, third person goes in. But I think it'll be good. I think it'll be nice, and I think really this game, like Monster Hunter, will be very group dependent. You want to play with lots of people or group up with other people as well, and kind of go out and do the kind of the loot hunt for sure, but just figuring out like, all right, so you know, Levi really likes playing the Colossus and Joe really likes playing the Interceptor. It's like, what do I play? Do I play the Storm and use the little wind wall, you know, ability to like protect them if they're trying to do their special move? Or the Ranger has a thing he can put down to, I think it's the Ranger. One of them has a thing that can like reduce cooldowns. Maybe it's Storm or something, or the Ranger has one that can increase damage in a little area. So it's like if you're doing like a crazy mortar salvo with the Colossus, be like, all right, you're going to do that there? I'm going to shoot this on you. So you buffed, kind of like Evolve, you know, that one guy who could like put the little red beam and it would increase damage. Like, all right, guys, I'm putting the damage on him, play it on, you know. So like that sort of those tactics, and you know, fighting a bunch of little enemies or fighting a big boss, and kind of just exploring the world together, flying around with your buddies. Like that is so cool to me, because in a lot of these games we're on horseback, like in Red Dead or Monster Hunter, you're running around, but literally flying next to people, being like, we're going over here,
like fighter pilot type stuff, you know, like playing music from Top Gun. And...
and like the fact that at any engagement you could fight like in a lot of different ways. Like you could fight from the air, or you could fight on the ground, or you can kind of dodge around, and like that right there makes.
You can't fly forever though, can you?
You can't fly forever. So you basically will overheat unless you hit like water and stuff. So that's why they have a lot of waterfalls. So it's very kind of Pandora-esque.
That's gonna be cool.
But also I think the Storm, they said, is the one that's like the best at just hovering, because it has like this overshield that pops up for it, and it's supposed to, like, if it hovers and it has these things equipped, it'll make its cooldowns like go down faster. So you want to stay up in the air with it, depending on how you build them, because you can really kind of decide if you want to, you know, which abilities you want to use and which variations of them you'd like to use on top of that. So there's a lot of nuance in this game.
Which one has sniper? Excuse me. Which one has sniper abilities?
I don't know. I haven't really seen too much sniping stuff in this game, Joe. I think the point of this is not to be like,
No, I thought there was some video where I saw one of them using a scoped weapon. I don't know if it was Interceptor or not, but
I'm sure if they do have a scoped weapon like that, any of them can use it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Typically with a lot of those guns, I think any one of them can use it. I just don't know if a lot of them kind of pair well with those abilities, because this game seems more focused on having like your special abilities pair off of like your whatever little attributes your gun has, you know, like if your gun can like reduce cooldowns, or, you know, make it more potent or do more fire damage or whatever.
Here's the question everybody wants to know is, which one are you gravitating towards most? Levi, you got to answer this one too.
Yep. I think, Levi, you should go first. You're the person who hasn't seen it the most. So there's those four. Again, the Interceptor, fast and deadly. Storm, kind of like floating warlock type. Colossus, I'm going to blow everything up and blow myself up in the process. And Ranger kind of does everything, but kind of more leader-esque in a way, because he has like support abilities.
I'd have to say the warlock type, because that was like my go-to player in Destiny. So
yeah, that's a good pick. Is it just because you like floating around and being like all magical? Is that what it is? I mean, yes. Honestly, when I think of like Warlock, I'm the same, because I used to run a Warlock, and I was like, I do like floating around and being like, for me, I like all of them except the Interceptor. The ones that are like high skill cap and like are very like, I'm really quick and crazy, like have never appealed to me as much in these types of games. But
we know Drew will go for the Interceptor.
I know Drew. Exactly. I think of you guys immediately. Like that's how close I think we are, and like especially with gaming, it's just like, all right, what's Joe gonna pick? What's Drew?
Drew mains Genji in Overwatch, so you know he's going Interceptor.
Yeah.
But he's also ran Reinhardt big time, which leads me to believe maybe Colossus won't be out of the question.
And from what I've heard, it's not hard to level up your other classes. It's pretty quick, so you don't have to be like, all right, you have to be Colossus forever. It's like, no, you can switch out, which is kind of good.
Yeah.
I guess for me, Joe, right now, I wasn't thinking about the Storm. Storm does look cool. The more I see about the Storm, the more I like it. But I like the Ranger. I know it's just kind of the straightforward one, but it's like he looks kind of Iron Man-esque, and I like some of the things I got. And I also really, really enjoy thinking, all right, if Joe's going to be Colossus or Interceptor or whatever, which class am I going to use to be like, all right, how am I going to direct him? how am I going to be like, all right, I'm going to ice grenade this group, get ready to blow them to hell. Like, you know, I'd be like, all right, Joey, let's do it, you know, kind of thing. Like stuff like that is really appealing to me because then it's like, yeah, kind of thing. It's an alley-oop, baby.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like we're Troy and that other guy, Corbin Blue from the High School Musical. But, yeah, so probably that one. But the raw destructive capability of the Colossus with the flamethrower and stuff is also incredibly appealing. It's like,
yeah, because I'll be honest, especially if you're going Ranger, I'm thinking Colossus. I think that's my number one pick as of right now.
It's dude, like the shield, it can block landmines, which doesn't make a ton of sense. Like I get it, like he runs over it, triggers it before it hits, but it's I'm like he's just like, I'm like that's it's too funny, man.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm definitely thinking Colossus number one pick, but I'll give the honorable mention to the Interceptor just because I think it'd be good to change up from like total different ends of the spectrum, right?
Yeah,
So.
I think it'll keep it fresh. And plus, I think too, I'm very like color focused and like seeing, I'm like, oh, I'm not a huge fan of the green, but if you make, and I've seen this like a black and red Interceptor, or you make like the CR colors or whatever else, and you guys are going to spend, like you and Drew especially, Joe, are going to spend like hours just like picking up patterns and like textures and all this stuff. It's
looking good's feeling good, and feeling good is gaming good.
I've never seen, and I don't know if they're going to give all these options away right away, but from the stream that they did, from just the pattern textures alone on everything, it was insane. I was like, you must be kidding. And all the different, and this was like different textures of metal versus kind of like polymers and ceramic.
And this is third person, right?
This is third. Yeah, man.
That's what's really cool about it. You get to enjoy it yourself.
Yeah, I hate games where it's like Destiny. This is my biggest gripe with it. Is like you have all this cool stuff and you only see it back when you're at base, but the rest of the time you just see your hands. And it's like, cool, I have this outfit on that looks amazing, but I can only see when I taunt people. Like this game, you're going to be staring at this thing the whole time. So if you want to make it look however you want to, and they've shown like how nuts you can get with it, it's like you can make them look almost completely different. Like it's nuts. It's like, it's hot. It's like, I like that. I like that a lot. So
I'm excited for it. But okay, so Anthem, I think we got the gist. Everybody, we've all given our feelings and thoughts on which javelin we like. I have to end my session with an honorable mention to a couple that didn't quite top. I mean, they're not going to top Anthem. I'm sorry. Anthem is just too perfect of a game for me and my friends. But I got to give an honorable mention to Cyberpunk 2077.
I hope it comes out.
I mean, they're saying it's very likely that 2019 is it.
Oh, God.
CD Projekt Red, same developer from The Witcher 3, which I actually enjoyed. I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and play that. But, you know, when I did, I thought it was excellent. And just, I don't know if I want to use the word addictive, but I feel like I'm playing a movie, which is how those games should feel, but done in an extra special kind of way. Plus, it's very horror driven, which just kind of goes right up my alley. But then one other honorable mention, kind of my third place runner up to all these, is it looks like it's a Ubisoft developed game, kind of based off of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and it's called Skull and Bones, which it's essentially what why can't I think of the name right now? Sea of Thieves was, only amped up, better, and makes sense and more realistic, whatever you want to say. So, they say it's a good replacement to that if Sea of Thieves didn't really do it for you. So, it looks kind of cool. And Sea of Thieves was a good concept, and if they kind of take that and make it better and kind of do what we thought they were going to do, I think this is a good thing to look into. So,
first off, I don't know if I heard this correctly. Did you say Cyberpunk you think it's kind of horror-esque?
No, I said The Witcher 3.
Okay, good. I was just like,
because I was giving the credit to
Gotcha. I hope it comes out, because honestly, if that game comes out, whenever it comes out, I think it'll just take the game of the year from like everybody. I think people are just so excited about it.
It looks pretty nuts.
Joe, I did not think you were excited about Skull and Bones.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me a little bit.
I am surprised, but I love it because I'm excited about Skull and Bones. I want it to be good. I don't know what the free roam options are like, but it is a little more tactical. It's a little more like they do have like team death matches and stuff like that. So kind of figuring out which ships you want to have in your party is crucial. And I think it's really cool because I absolutely adore the naval combat in Assassin's Creed. I think it's one of my favorite things in it. And
yeah, well, apparently you weren't the only one who thought that. That's why Ubisoft is like, we're going to make it its own game.
Yeah, and they look at what Ubisoft has done with games like For Honor and Rainbow Six Siege. They take these like multiplayer focused games and they support them like nuts, and they become really good. They have become really good over time, and I'm hoping that they've learned that stuff, and now they could just come out with a good game like right in the beginning. Not that For Honor was bad, because when it came out originally, I thought it was great. It's just that they needed like the dedicated servers and stuff, and now that they like know that, hopefully that'll continue to go on. But yeah, man, I'm excited about Skull and Bones. I think it comes out like in March. Do you have a date for that, Joe? March-ish. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like May. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. To be determined.
Yeah, to be determined. I don't think they've advertised anything yet.
A full date. Okay. They might have said like Q2 2019 at some point or whatever. Doesn't really matter. I'm excited about that, Joe. I think that'd make for a super duper jolly buddy stream as we go around and we.
Yeah, I don't know about people. Jolly. It seems pretty.
Jolly Roger, baby. Jolly, we're gonna blowing people up. Yeah, baby.
I don't know. I mean, we all were kind of interested or intrigued by the idea of Sea of Thieves. I think this is what we were looking for, though.
I'm hoping
Sea of Thieves wasn't it. This is it.
I want them to take their time, and I would love it if they fleshed out a little bit of the like. Even if it's something small, like they show them walking around in third person like Assassin's Creed on their home base island. If you get to really customize the crap out of your pirate, like that was something Sea of Thieves didn't really let you do. And especially at the very beginning, I think if you do that right away, I think that's really going to hook people because you're going to see that little guy, you know, or girl like running the ship. And like you want that to be like part of the pirate fantasy. So yeah, man, I'm hopeful for it because I think pirate games could be so much cooler than they are right now. And there's so much potential for pirate games. It's like, please let it be good. And Ubisoft, I like Ubisoft. They make good games. And clearly they sell freaking well. Like, say what you will about their past, but like Ubisoft has really brought it together. Like they're bringing the thunder, and we'll talk about Division a little bit later. But yeah, I'm excited, dude. Skull and Bones. If you're there day one, Joe, I'm there with you, baby. I will sail out with you. I will blow some stuff up. Let's do it.
Well, think about it. I've got 3 games on my list for the entire year right now, so.
We need to find a way to get some of these review copies. Like my boys need them too, and they'll be like, "So we, how many copies of Cyberpunk do you need?" I'll be like, "Well, we got to talk about it, so probably 5 or 10, probably 10 of them. A couple to put around my room."
And what do you guys think of, and have you heard of Days Gone?
Yes. Levi, do you have any opinions on this?
Is that the one with Norman Reedus?
No, that was PT. Or you're talking about
There's a new one with him. Yeah. What's with Days Gone?
Days Gone is a third-person open-world game in which you play an individual who is part of a biker gang, but there is a zombie apocalypse. So it's like Sons of Anarchy meets Walking Dead.
Not interested.
It's open world, free roam in the Pacific Northwest, and it's I don't know much more on it.
Joe, I'm going to stop you right there. It's a PS4 exclusive.
I'm out. All
right, there we go. I hope somebody who watched this heard that and just types that comment. They're like, Joe, here's his PS4 exclusive. Is like, please. Funnily enough, at one of Sony's press conferences, they had zombies hanging from, this is for E3, hanging from the ceiling, like upside down, like in ropes. So it's just like zombie dummies. One of them was an actor. And like moved around at one point, but they were hanging upside down. It's like, so they hung up like 20 or 30 of these things, and they're like, put one person up there. It's like, yeah.
So let me just read a little bit about it, just real quickly, because I've seen a little bit of the gameplay or the trailer for it, and it actually looks really neat, kind of intense, almost like kind of edge of your seat type stuff. Open world, post-apocalyptic landscape. Yeah, okay. It all seems pretty standard, but it's a little different with the Pacific Northwest, which hasn't been capitalized on a lot in video games. Hordes of zombies. In this game, they call them freakers. And you can either fight or avoid them in certain ways. And they're saying, so this is pretty formulaic. Yeah, we've seen it before a few times. But this article is saying take a closer look. Days Gone is poised to radically change that standardization. And it's got a lot of small tweaks to this formula that make it, I guess it takes a step up from games like Dead Rising and Dying Light and DayZ is what they're saying.
Sure.
Let's see. Yeah, it takes place in the lush forest of the Pacific Northwest. This guy's from a biker gang.
This game would have done better if it came out at the beginning of this console generation, just because it's kind of like a tech showcase in a way that they're trying to put so many zombies on screen. That's kind of like the thing they would show off. If you watch any videos from this, you'll notice that there's so many, and you don't really.
Oh, this that game?
Yes, it's not like you don't really fight them. You kind of run and like throw things and shoot a few and then keep running because there's just like it's just like waves and waves.
This is with all the rolling. They have like a bunch of stuff that rolls, like a bunch of logs that roll.
Yeah, like you can use the environment to take them out.
I remember seeing this so long ago.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It has been kind of in this weird space for a long time where they've had issues developing and like it's like this should have come out a long time ago. And I think the problem with a game like this is if you have an initial burst of people who are excited about it, that group falls off quickly when it doesn't come out pretty quickly as well. It's kind of like Crackdown 3 where it's like, when is this game coming out? Like you said it was going to come out. Like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
Unlike Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy, where they've got like that name attached to it, where people will wait forever. With this game, I don't think it's going to review super well, but I think there will be a strong following, like a small following, but they will be really ardent. They'll be like, I love this game so much. It's so good. You know, they've got zombie bears. So
still waiting on that FF7 remake.
Yeah.
Skull and Bones.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry that it's PS4 because I think you'd probably get a kick out of it because, you know, for you kind of like open worlds. It wouldn't necessarily be, I don't know if it has co-op or multiplayer, but I know you like, you know, bikes and things. So it's like you get to kind of do that. And that's taking care of your bike, kind of like taking care of your horse in Red Dead a little bit. And I think that's kind of interesting. But it is weird to see the guy just constantly wear that outfit in the apocalypse. Like he didn't wear anything else. He's like still his little biker vest on and his backwards hat. He's like,
I wore it day one, I'll wear it day last.
He's like, that sounds perfect for a biker. He'd be like, day one and day last, not first day or the 100th day or bikers are intelligent.
It lends itself well to multiplayer. I think it'd be smart if they had that in there, but you know, whatever. Not my top pick, but I think it was worth a little mention. You know?
Cool. Well, let me go last here, and I'll try to keep it brief because I've talked about it a few times. But
last but not least,
yeah, it's mine. Devil May Cry 5. Oh yeah, okay. Here's the question a lot of people might have: Jimmy, why are you excited about the 5th installment in a franchise, man? Haven't you played plenty of them before? Weirdly enough, it's like this year for this and Gears of War 5. It's like two beloved franchises to me. I'm like, what are you both coming out here? It's the year of the 5. Devil May Cry 5 is interesting because they rebooted Devil May Cry after Devil May Cry 4, and they just called it DMC. They made it edgy and whatever. I played it. Combat was good. Story and characters, everything else kind of sucked. Some imaginative boss fights, but now we're going back to what makes Devil May Cry Devil May Cry. Really kind of slick music in combat, funny characters, just this weird, almost anime-esque style to these videos or these cinematics that are in the cutscenes and stuff. Just a fun time. Also, it looks super good. And from the demo I played, which they took that demo down and they're going to come out with a new one here, that doesn't always happen. I'm just stoked. It feels great. It feels really good. And I feel like there's so much nuance and stuff to the actual combat to be a master at these types of games, to be aggressive and be really good at this, because this game is proactive. It wants you to start the fight and continue the fight. It's not about dodging at the right moment to like slow down time or anything like that. It's like, no, like you're in it and you want to be aggressive and moving and shaking all the time. And it feels so good. And they have one of 3 characters playable right here. Nero. Dante, I think, is going to be in the next demo, who is kind of the poster boy for Devil May Cry, which is excellent. And then V, which I'm sure is kind of a nod to 5. He'll be the 3rd playable character. Still waiting for Virgil. my boy Virgil, Dante's brother, super fast, uses a katana, whatever. But this game looks really good, sounds really good, just feels freaking good. And for that, I'm excited. I just hope they don't do what they did in like Devil May Cry 4, where you could play half the game, and then they just took that half and they flipped it back over on itself, and they're like, all right, you play as Nero, and then you flip and play as Dante. Just don't do that again. It's a single-player game. It's linear. Don't make me play through the same freaking levels backwards. It's like, ugh, it's so frustrating. So if you don't do that, you're going to be good. Guys, do you have anything you want to say about Devil May Cry? I've kind of talked about it a little bit here, but, either of you have any input?
I don't have a lot to say about it. I want to just play it because I haven't played one since Xbox 360. So I'm excited just to kind of check it out.
Well, you get the demo.
Is it out?
They had one out for a bit, and they're putting out a new one.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. Cool. You totally should. It is actually really fun. Joe, I know this isn't really your cup of tea, but would you even consider just picking up the demo just to try it out? It's free.
Perhaps if I got some time to kill, I will.
I'm just saying, if they put a co-op in this game, it's my dream to have co-op in this game, like a stylistic action game with a buddy. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, oh, Dante and Virgil together, I would freaking lose. I'd be like, let's kill them all. Let's kill all the demons. Yeah, I'm just a big fan, and I know a lot about the lore. I don't know a lot about anything pre-Devil May Cry 3, though, which is Devil May Cry 1 and 2, but the timeline is really weird with these games, so it's not necessarily, following that. But I don't really care about that as much. I just want to play as these characters and just have fun in this world. And it's a video game that knows it's a video game and has fun with it. I love that. That's what I love about that series. It's kind of like why I like older Just Cause games. They knew their video games. It's like, we're going to have fun. It's going to be dumb, but we're all going to have a good time. And like, it's not trying to hide. It's not trying to be like, I lost my father and I have to learn. Like, not every game needs to be like The Last of Us, like not every movie has to have all these twists and turns, like we said before. If it's just a straightforward fun time, it's entertaining, it's all I want. It's all I want. That's what I think it's going to be. So yeah, it's going to be great. Itsuno, arigato. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for bringing this back. Oh, that's good. Do we have any other games we want to talk about before we start wrapping up the show here, boys?
I can never pronounce it correctly, but Sekuden?
Sekido?
Sekido, I'm very excited for this game because it looks like they're really trying to get away from the formulaic, Dragon Souls. Dark Souls.
They'll call it Dragon Souls next.
Yep. They're trying to get away from that, and I really like the graphics of this game. It looks really beautiful. If I could just walk around there's cherry blossoms blooming everywhere, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I'd rather have Ghost of Tsushima. Looks better. There, I said it.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Ghost of Tsushima. Yes, I'm sorry. They have the same game. Anyway.
I've been trying to tell people because if they both come out this year, which is I think Sekiro is already for sure coming out. Shadows Die Twice. For people who don't know, that game is the one from Software. They make Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, stuff like that. So like that, but with the Japanese kind of samurai paint splashed all over it. Where Ghost of Tsushima is more of like Red Dead, but with samurai. That's because it's a little more slower and stuff like that. It's not as crazy action. Ghost of Tsushima to me is the one that I'm way more excited about. I'm not a huge From Software fan, so that to me looks a little more interesting. Plus, I like the idea of having like a sword attack, almost like a lightsaber, where he draws and he cuts somebody down with one attack. Like, because if you actually slash someone, like they'd be like,
It's very Bleach style.
Yeah, I just like that kind of realistic, and of course ghosts might not be super duper realistic, but a little more so than Sekiro. But Sekiro, what that game's going to do is all about the combat. Like, it's all about the craziness and kind of the stealth and kind of assassinating and jumping around, which you haven't really been able to do as much in a From Software game. So you're saying Ghost is the one you're more excited about, Levi?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Getting them confused, all these dang games.
It's the game. I swear, everybody thought Assassin's Creed was going to do Japan this year, and they all freaked out and were like, "Everybody, make your Japanese samurai game right now!" And there's Ubisoft's like, "No, we're actually going to take the year off. Don't know what we're going to make next. Could be anything." And it's just like somebody over there's got the feudal Japan board all written up, and they're like, "What are they doing that's good? What are they doing that sucks?" Like, they're just circling things and stuff. Even God of War was
fight it out first.
Yeah, they're like, "What's good? What do people like?" Yeah, I'm excited. I want Assassin's Creed to figure out its new footing with its RPG stuff before it takes on feudal Japan. But Yeah, dude, if Ghost of Tsushima comes out this year, oh boy. If that comes out with Cyberpunk, that will be like my 2 games of the year. I'll be like,
yeah. And those are both PS4? Is that all?
No,
consoles?
Sekiro's on both. I think Ghost is exclusive. So
Okay.
yeah, which sucks. I'm sorry, Joe. Joe's just like, why are they all these stupid exclusives? He's like,
Joe, I held out as long as I could, and then I finally just got a PS4. So you're gonna have to join the bandwagon.
no, he's not, because we're gonna jump consoles next. It'll be like Xbox 2 and PS4.
Oh yeah, PS6 will be out.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's the games we're excited about, at least in the beginning of 2019. I'm sure we'll talk about more as we actually get dates on some of these things, because all of these are subject to change. A lot of these, hopefully, that we talked about here today will be coming out in the next few months. It's not like Kingdom Hearts. They're like, actually, we'll postpone it to 2022. And I'll be like, no! Like, they're just like, we just need to, it's a licensing thing. But yeah, let us know which ones you're most excited about down in the comments below. But also, we get to move into my favorite segment. Well, one of my favorite segments of the show. It's not the last one. It's not my favorite. Second favorite segment of the show that I like to call. Levi likes to call. Joe likes to call. Who likes to call it?
Timekillers.
That's right. It's time for Timekillers. Gabe, we've been playing movies, we've been watching TV shows, we've been viewing. Joe, hit me up, man. What have you been killing time with there, baby?
All I did all weekend was play Blackout every day and ski.
I saw that, and I specifically didn't party chat yet because
That's a shame, man.
because I knew you were playing it and I wasn't gonna play with you. And a lot of the conversations, I can't see them, but it's a lot like, "Hey, there's some dude in the building. Oh my god, hey, I'm getting shot. Like, and it's like that for like 48 hours.
Yeah.
You didn't watch anything else, Joe? You haven't watched any movies or anything?
I watched Bird Box. I'm not even going to bother talking about it because everybody knows. And it's basically like...
You talked about it last week.
Yeah, go and watch...
I saw it.
Oh, what's the freaking movie with...
Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. Yeah, it's basically that, only a different sense. So, enjoy. Anything else that I watched? Nope. Moving on.
Cool. Levi, how about you, man?
I watched Bird Box 2. Not as good as A Quiet Place. Sandra Bullock, though, she's good. I mean, it's a decent movie. Good for Netflix.
No Emily Blunt. That's what they really needed, because Emily Blunt is an international treasure.
She is.
I love her so much. Damn you, John Krasinski. I'm just kidding, John.
Who's from Eau Claire, by the way.
I know. He's one of us. He's a Midwest boy. Him and Chris Pratt. I can do it too. Anyway, sorry.
Nicolas Cage in International Treasure. Where's Emily gone?
This year we get National Treasure 3. It's happening.
Anyway.
I like the National Treasure movies.
I love them. I love those movies. They're good.
I really liked them.
It's been a while since I've seen them.
They're good, dude.
History alive, man.
The greatest thing is the realistic fact that the bad guy is just a dude with a gun, because like they're usually not like super villains. It's just like some guy who's just like, please. But they're usually not like the worst guy. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's just like it's Sean Bean with a gun. It's like, yeah. Sorry, Levi, continue.
No, you're fine. I've been replaying or rewatching Game of Thrones. So getting ready for the last season to come out here in April.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
Depression imminent.
There's just something about Game of Thrones. It's a beautiful show. So well done.
Yeah!
And I'm really excited for the prequel. We're getting a prequel series, so that's really cool. They've announced the cast, and Naomi Watts is in it. Like, it's gonna be cool.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, I missed the news lately. Holy crap!
And what else am I doing? Playing Overwatch. I'm just really into Overwatch right now. I don't know why.
You're still playing it, huh?
I'm still playing, and I'm streaming it tonight. I'm still into it.
Who are you maining?
I mean, I suck with everybody. So who am I struggling with? Everyone. Right now I'm maining Moira. She's like probably my favorite character.
She's cool.
Her and Hammond are really cool. And what else am I doing? Playing Kingdom Hearts. God, the first one is just a slog fest. I mean, it's tough to get through right now. But yeah,
cool.
That's it for me.
For me, play a little Just Cause 4, kind of going through that, still wrapping up Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've put over 50 hours into that game. It is a long game. And we just came out with some news that you can actually change how the leveling works, because right now there's a lot of world scaling, What does that mean? It means that if I'm level 10 and I go to level 11, everybody else goes to level 11. So changing it now so that way you can manipulate that a little bit so it's not as bad. Because usually in an RPG, at least for me, I like to just be like, you know, I'm coming back here. I'm coming back here in like 4 levels. I'm gonna crush everybody here. So that's what I like. But it's still pretty good. I still enjoy it. Huh?
Is this on Games Pass?
No, I don't think so. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But yeah, I played a little bit of Civilization 6. Thank you to our Legionnaires who gave me that game. It's over 2 years ago now that they bought that game for me as a Christmas present, and I believe that's how long it is. Anyway, great game, still super fun, super just chill game. Love to play it. And I just need to get back into Smash. I need to play some more of that. I haven't beaten World of Light, but I've unlocked every character.
I beat it.
You beat
It's
World
such
of
a
Light?
grind.
Yeah, it is a grind, dude.
It's a grind fest, but
you beat World of Light? Dang,
yeah,
dude.
I did. It was hard. But that game's good. They did it. I'm very impressed with Smash. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. Part of me just wants to go back and play some more Breath of the Wild, but it's like, wait. Gotta transfer my data, Levi.
I know I need to get that too.
Anyway, yeah, but besides that, I've been watching a lot of comedians lately. I watched Tom Segura on Netflix. It was pretty good. It was a recommendation from a friend. Pretty good. It was a recent thing. I watched Liza something. She did Elder Millennial. She's a tall, blonde comedian on Netflix. I wasn't as big a fan of hers. She was okay. I like Ali Wong. Not that like you have to pick like one female comedian that you like. My sister is going to see Ali Wong here. She's coming to Minnesota in March. And I was like, oh, you're going to go see her? Like her husband bought her tickets. I'm like, if he backs out, ask me, I will go. Because Ali Wong is so funny to me. And I watched Joe Rogan's most recent comedy special, which was really funny. It was very funny to me. I don't know, like he doesn't care. He does not care how people feel about anything. You know, I was just like, this is very.
That's why he's so successful with his podcast. Too.
He said that too. He's like, I get paid for having opinions and making bad decisions, or something like that. And I got obviously, I think he's trying. I don't know if he's trying to appeal to like my demographic, but there's something. I just laughed a lot about his just kind of very blunt, honest nature to it. So yeah, I would check out any of those three. I don't know. I'm gonna get and like.
What other ones did you watch, Jimmy? You and I started watching one night when I was sick and about to pass out, and we quit.
We watched. Oh God, we watched Adam Sandler 100% Fresh, or whatever that was. And here's the thing, I respect the fact that this comedy special was like. They took like 5 or 6 shows that he did and like hobbled them together. And I was like, okay, so it's always changing. A lot of the jokes were horrible. And a lot of it was like, oh, the Sandman, blah, 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 blah. It was like that. And it was brutal. Like Joe and I were so checked out. We were like.
And then he did a little song or a little ditty now and again, and it didn't quite hit with anybody. It wasn't resonating.
He has this pianist who was sitting over here, a keyboard player, and he would just start a song, and it was just like dun 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 dun. He'd be like, "Oh, I am great, and I am hot, and I am here, and I am not," and it was like that was the song, and like that's all it was, and everyone would be like, "Ah!" I was like, he didn't do, guys, he didn't do anything. Yeah, it was so bad. It was drastically horrible.
What is this called?
It's called, I think it's 100% Fresh or 100% Guaranteed Fresh. It's on Netflix. It's like a big special.
Yeah, Adam Sandler special. It's advertised and all that.
Joe saw his tribute a little bit to Chris Farley in the song.
That's the only good part of the whole thing.
That's when we're gonna watch it because of that. And I was like, oh, maybe it'll be funny. But the fact that it kept changing venues and stuff, I prefer, especially with these Netflix specials, I like it where the comedian who has a huge audience and like even the little jokes, like there's somebody dying in the audience, like someone is just loving it. So the fact that he kept changing venues, he'd have a huge venue, like a Slipknot concert or something, like outside, like he'd have like thousands of people, and then he'd have like a little like cafe, and it's like every joke he'd flip, and I was like, this is not consistent, like it's really freaking me out, and I don't like it. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that one just for me, and I don't find his comedy stylings at all funny. Like it was not great.
I feel it was worth talking about.
I haven't found Adam Sandler funny since like, God, I don't even know, Mr. Deeds.
I think maybe 50 First Dates was the last one that had its moments.
I like that movie.
I'm with you. Like him personally, though, I think Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore were just like the top, where he actually got to be like a really angry person or really dumb. yeah, he hasn't done anything quite as good since for me. But yeah, Joe, thanks for bringing that up. I think we started watching that on like New Year's, and we are like, this is horrible. I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Oh yeah, it was, and I was overtired because I was sick, and I just couldn't take it anymore.
I was barely paying attention. I was like, yep, Joe and I, we'd rather
watch. Of us need to suffer through this.
We're going to watch the 24-minute Indominus Rex Jurassic World retelling of Lego, but we're not going to watch this. Like, nope, screw this crap. All right, gents, well, let's wrap it up here. We're going to get into my favorite segment of the show, community feedback and questions. Thanks, everybody, for writing them. I asked our lovely Legionnaires which games they're most excited about coming out in 2019 and why, because you got to do that like a teacher does it. This one comes in from Missile Mage. There's so many great games slated to come out in this next year, but I'm most excited for Media Molecule's Dreams. They have a beta running at the moment, and the whole thing just looks insane with so many possibilities.
I forgot about Dreams.
Our buddy Corey Lang. Corey, how's it going? He says, Sekiro Shadows died twice because From Software is currently my favorite Japanese developer, and they have a tremendous track record. And I'm ready for some punishing single-player ninja action. Plus, it looks gorgeous. And last but not least, this one comes in from our buddy Ryan. He says, DMC 5. It has been too long since I played a good DMC, and this looks to be back on track. Also, Resident Evil 2. I want to finally play this classic remade. There we go. There you go, guys. Some good ones here. All right, this is a little bit of a lengthier one, but I think this is a good question. This one comes in from Fragidon. So stay with me, everybody, all right? All right. Hashtag Critical Podcast. That's how you get to us. Or you hit us up on Discord. It says, is it really beneficial to the franchise of living or ongoing games to create a sequel? For example, when Destiny 2 abruptly released, it wiped the slate clean of established content as well as its bond with their most loyal community members. It took content mirrored to what was already implemented in its previous iteration to get things back on track. Another example is with The Division, a game of the long and rocky upcoming, only to hit its sweet spot towards its most recent patches and DLC. Its resurgence brought players back along with new gamers to finally give this game a shot. But now, so suddenly, we get a sequel. Could this be the same fate Destiny 2 has? Should these dedicated communities be excited or ask these publishers and developers to not move so fast and keep giving these base games the love they deserve? Adapt and overcome. Thank you. From that on the end, I love that. Adapt and overcome.
I like it too, yeah.
Yeah. Fragin, I think, poses a great question. Do either of you want to weigh in on this? How do you feel about this? These on-running games, and then they're like, hey, but here's a sequel. Like, you know?
I feel like Destiny should have done what like World of Warcraft does, is just release an expansion pack. And that way it's not feeling like you're cheating a whole, I don't know.
Sure, so instead of doing Destiny 2.
Yeah, because Destiny 2 doesn't need to exist. It literally could have just been Destiny with an expansion.
You're right.
So they did, was it the Forsaken King with Destiny 1? And that was like the big expansion. And then Destiny 2 had another big, I don't remember if that was the expansion of Destiny 2, but they had another big expansion like a year later, like they had a few months ago where they brought a lot of people back in. But you're right, because it is kind of like.
It's funny because we all played Destiny 2 again for a bit, and then we all fell off because it's just, there wasn't enough there. But it was really cool. Like it had like a flash effect where it was like, awesome, and then it was like, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah Joe, how do you feel about this?
I feel like Levi makes a good point. I feel like, why create a whole new game and call it number 2 when you could just kind of do the job with an expansion pack that maybe costs almost as much as a new game or even the same? I mean, it's the same thing as downloading the new Destiny 2. I don't, are you even going to buy the physical copy anyway? And, sometimes games merely need improvement. The wheel doesn't need to be reinvented. I mean, if you can make it work, if it works, don't reinvent it. Especially if it's not going to be drastically different or something that's going to, kind of change the face of your game. I mean, it's kind of tough. It's like trying to think of another good example. Like, for instance, Ghost Recon Wildlands.
God, you're in my head. Get out of there! You guys want to play some MXGP3? Let's play some MXGP3. Canada Dry.
Jimmy. What's happening?
Dag on.
I am freaked out right now. Yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands. I mean, I think there's an example there to be had in that they can't rush a sequel to that game because, first of all, it had a lot in it and a lot of content and a lot of, I don't want to say revolutionary, but it was a original or, profound concept,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, sure.
Your multiplayer team, the covert ops kind of a deal, close to like a Splinter Cell deal. But, there's a lot of nuances within the game. You got to do something substantial in the next version that really differentiates itself from the first one. Did I say that right? In the second one, you got to really differentiate from the first one. Whether that is a total new storyline, I don't know if that's going to do the trick. I think it might need to be more than that. Sure. From the equipment, from the weaponry, maybe the timeline, maybe you're way in the future or something. The options are endless. I just don't think for the sake of doing another one, you should just do another one. I feel like you start to shit all over yourself if you're doing it that way. Why not do something that's going to be successful and not die out? If you can really revolutionize it as you take that next step to the sequel and differentiate itself, it keeps it fresh each time around. And when the audience comes to expect that freshness each and every release, that's when you have a long living franchise as opposed to let's do another Destiny. Yep, it's going to be the same. Cosmetics will be different though, and we're introducing a few new weapons. You know what I mean? So it's tough, but I don't know. A lot of them survive now on the fact that people just want to play more of it and have it just be a little different. Like, oh, I haven't been to this part of the game. I won't have it memorized yet.
Yeah. I think, I was thinking about Ghost Recon, Joe, because you mentioned it. And before, like you even had mentioned it, though, which was crazy to me. The thing about Ghost Recon, though, I think a sequel works. And you never know who might be working on some sort of wish list video for such a thing.
I wonder.
But I think it works because you and I and like Levi and everyone who played this game, we weren't checking back in with it regularly, even though they added things like the Predator and the Sam Fisher Splinter Cell stuff. It didn't feel like it was something I needed to go back to. And I feel like it's closed off in that it can't really add something more right now without adding something like a huge expansion to it, right? So in essence, like that one, it doesn't feel as much of like a living game, whereas like For Honor, for instance, is a game that like, Joe, you've even played this year and they keep adding new things to. If they came out next year and they're like, we're doing For Honor 2, be like, why? Like, it's like, why are you doing this? Because it does kind of feel like a smack in the face of the people who have been so loyal to you. Because basically what that's saying is we're going to stop supporting this game. Hopefully it's as good as it can be, but we're going to make something new because we want to bring hopefully you and your buddies who gave up on For Honor to play the next one. I think that's basically what this is. I think a lot of it is a money grab. I'm sorry, but to like play Destiny 2 again for all of us, we'd have to buy like that big expansion to like play some of this new or whatever this stuff was going to be. I forget. You have to like pay a lot of money. It's like $40 or $60 or whatever it is. But I'm not willing to do that because it wasn't as compelling to me. Now, when Monster Hunter World comes out with their big freaking expansion in the fall, I don't care what that price is because they've already given us so much for free. I'm excited about it, but I don't want Monster Hunter World 2 like for like 2 or 3 years. I want it to take its time. I want it to be like, okay, we learned all these lessons and we're crafting a brand new area. But yeah, I think the consensus for most of us is like, it is kind of crappy that they're doing.
What could For Honor do to get you back, Jimmy?
I don't know if it could do anything. I like that game. It's just so intense.
Keep in mind, I'm posing this as a question for the sake of this entire argument.
Good question. I think.
First of all, could they get the people?
Go ahead.
Could they actually do any development or DLC that would get players that played at the start but abandoned it for new stuff? Could they do anything to get those players back?
Give me an open world co-op campaign like Ghost Recon Wildlands, then I'll come back.
That could be pretty cool, but I think
against NPCs. I don't want to see. The thing with that game is it's a fighting game. It literally it's like a Street Fighter, and if you don't play it for a long time, you go back, there is nothing you can do. Like you're just some dude's doing like an infinite combo with a character you've never seen before, and you're like, oh my god. He's just like
Is that just free to play now?
no, I don't think it's free to play.
It should have been free to play. Always should have been free to play.
No, it shouldn't have. There was
No
a
way.
substantial campaign, and it was worth it. It's worth.
I mean,
the money.
do you
Multiple
go
campaigns from
to-
different viewpoints.
Yeah, that was cool.
I mean, do you go to McDonald's and rummage through the trash and be like, I want to pay for this? Like, no. You want to
There's quality there, though. Free to play is like art
Joe has
survival.
disconnected from the
Yeah.
podcast.
I just think For
I'm
Honor,
not kidding.
if they made a For Honor 2, I think they'd have to go really crazy with it. But yeah, for me, Joe, that's kind of what I'd want. I'd want to run around with you guys and like
I think
enjoy
that's a
being
really good
that
idea.
without being terrified. Because a lot of it was just like hold point A, and like that's only so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
They did introduce some new game modes, and I don't think they can ever advertise it well enough to really garner a new crowd. But they did some new game modes that Drew and I had a lot of fun with. I think, there's a vibe to it that I think keeps beckoning me back. Like I'll play it from time to time. I think a couple weeks ago, just before Christmas, I actually played it for a couple hours, and it's good. It still is, you got to shake a little rust off because it's complex. It's not easy, but the
that's
different support things they do keep it somewhat fresh.
Yeah, For Honor lost me. It was overly complicated to do combos for me, and I'm just not good at those kind of like Street Fighter type games, like Jimmy was saying, like with the combos, and so that just lost me. Plus that with the 2 game modes they had, I think I was just like, nah, okay.
Yeah. So for me, for that, I think they'd have to do something really, really big and drastic to make a For Honor 2 that I was really excited about, even though I still think fondly of the game. But yeah, that's more of like a living game. That's something people are checking back in with more often. But then you look at people who play like Call of Duty, and they're buying the new one every year. It's not like they're saying it's like, okay, we're making Black Ops 5. They're like, we're doing our other, Infinite Warfare 2 or whatever it is, So in that weird case, they keep doing it. I don't know. I guess I'm not a huge fan of it. Division 2 was weird to me when they first announced it. I was so excited because they were like they're in a museum or a conservatory or something where it looks kind of like jungle and tropical. And it almost felt like they smacked me in the face because it was like, oh, you wanted like an international division where like you're kind of globe hopping. Like that's what I want with Ghost Recon. And I was like, oh my God, this is really cool. This is a new setting. Maybe you're going to go all over the world. And I was like, nope, you're just in Washington, DC, baby. Too bad for you. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it just seems a little soon for that one for me.
Division 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Division 1 really burned me because I was so freaking hyped for that game as a, current gen console, new game.
Yeah.
It looked so cool, but I was like, eh.
I like the idea of other players being in the world with you at the same time.
Yeah. And they're bringing that back, the whole like
I do
dark tone
too,
and
but
stuff,
execute it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
it was like
something
you could
imbalanced about it too.
Yeah, well, it's like it kind of either came down to just like you got what you wanted, or you ended up just griefing people, or they griefed you, and it was like that was all you could do. There was never like, hey, do you want to be friends? Like there was never like a can we trade to be like buddies and work together? But at least it didn't seem that way because you could just shoot anybody in the back at any time. I don't know.
But God forbid that you were ranked lower than them, and I was.
Oh my God! Yeah, my gun does more damage.
God, I
than your
should
gun.
have never even made a sound. I'm sorry. I'll
Yeah,
leave.
exactly. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why to me too. I think I'm more excited about not even sequels, but I like games like Anthem. Like they remind me why I love games, and I know so many people get so nostalgic for games, and I'm totally with you there too. But I have way more excitement for Anthem than I do for Gears of War 5, and Gears of War is one of my hands down favorite franchises of all time. But I know what I'm getting with Gears. I don't know what I'm getting with Anthem. Same with like Destiny and Division. I can guess at what it's going to be like. I've played it. I understand it. I enjoy it. But it's not something I'm like, yes, let's do it. I'm so excited for this because it's just like,
it's something original, and it's totally fresh.
Yeah.
There are no pre-assumptions about it except for what they give you.
Yeah, well, it just gets the old neurons ablaze, you know what I'm saying? That gets them, but I still love doing like the wish list videos of like dreaming about the future. But so many people have so many thoughts on how things should be, and they get so angry. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm with you guys though, and it seems like Fragged is kind of with us too. It sucks because I know Destiny has like a really, really committed fan base, but I won't be surprised in like 2 years when they announce Destiny 3. You know, like they'll just just keep it going. They're just like, you're making new Destinies. But having said all of that, if Halo does come out this year, or even just the campaign, there's been rumors that Halo Infinite's single player will come out this year and their multiplayer will come out next year. I feel like Halo has so much possibility to be so crazy, and like they put so much money into these games. And I have gone back to Halo 5 occasionally.
I have too.
That game still feels like a hot banger, baby. Like that game, like the ground pound, baby, and the Warzone is hard but fun. Like there's a lot of fun to be had in Halo, and I'm waiting for Halo. I wish Bungie was doing Halo stuff, but I like 343. They're doing a good job. Let's wrap it up here. I'm going to ask a question that I kind of talked with Levi a little bit before about this. It's a little more controversial. We try to keep the show pretty light, but this was a question that did come in from Riley over on our Discord, and I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this. He said, thoughts on Blizzard announcing that Soldier 76 is gay? You think, having been adding these kind of tidbits about character sexuality, well, what would you do differently? Joe, initial thoughts. Yeah. A comic came out recently because they kind of do lore tidbits in different ways for Overwatch, but that had shown that Jack Morrison at one time had a boyfriend, and he mentioned it for a second, and Twitter went ablaze with it. I to use that word again. They're like, people were freaking out. A lot of people, I guess I didn't see this as much because I don't follow these types, but a lot of people were being very aggressively against this character and hated that. A lot of other people were saying it was like an amazingly good trick, that everyone who plays Soldier 76 is now gay themselves because they played the character.
Dude,
it was like,
I've had some of my best games ever with Soldier 76. I'll still play them.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah. So I want you guys to talk about this. I will just throw in my 2 cents really quick. I do not care about a character's sexuality. I understand that this is good. This is like, hey, you know what? They had Tracer first and now this. But it's 3 years or 2.5 years is a little too late. If this is like part of like your grand scheme, then like just say it up front. Like don't like wait till it sells really well and then be like, and actually, he's gay. And it's like why? Like, you know.
Orisa.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, just make everybody gay. Just be like, you know what? And Winston is gay. And they're like, he's a gorilla. You know, he's like, but I like other male gorillas. You know, like, and be like, oh. Like at this point, I don't want to. That's like the slippery slope fallacy. And I don't want everyone to be like, Jimmy just hates this. I don't care. I really don't care about this. It just seems like this is how Overwatch is like, hey, we're still relevant. Hey, like, you know, it's just like,
Overwatch
weird.
is still relevant. It's still cool. It's just the sexuality of a fictional cartoon character is pretty fucking lame. Like, I'm sorry to say, like,
it
shouldn't even mean a damn thing. I don't know.
And not once when I'm playing Tracer do I think, oh, I'm lesbian, so I'm gonna run around it.
Yeah, God, that just seems so.
One that I did get kind of a kick out was somebody said a new voice line that was going to come in where if Tracer and Soldier were on the same team and they start off together and Tracer's like, gay rights. And then like Soldier just quietly mumbles. He's like, yeah, gay rights. You know, like he's just like, I don't want to. Yeah, but like, okay, Levi, you know, obviously you have more, you probably have a more informed opinion about this than either of us do, because like, this is like, do you care about this at all? Like, I mean, does it matter? I want you to tell me, because it's harder for me, you know, to get a grasp of it.
I am as annoyed with this as I was to find out that like Dumbledore's gay. Really
Wait, he is?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling came out, and I'm sorry, that's a bad way to put it, but like many years after, it's like, yep, actually he's gay. And I was like,
it just doesn't work. You can't. Write it that way. Write it that way and put it somewhere that you like in the story. Like don't I guess don't put that character in the closet until it's famous enough to like bring it out of the closet. I think that's what's really annoying. Is like, oh, we don't want to do this until like we want to make sure it sells. That really pisses me off.
And then when they do it, it's only just it seems to be
the backlash is worse than it would have been to begin with.
Yep.
Attention.
It just
like this is gonna happen. Like they're gonna come out and just be like, oh, Arthur from Red Dead, he's gay. You know,
yeah,
like like they're just gonna. I mean, I get it. So like the thing is like gay sells these days. Like gay is cool and like it's hip to be, it's hip to be gay and cool with gays. And it's like, really it's really not, supposed to be a selling thing. It's supposed to be, people's, part of who they are.
Super marketable, man.
Super marketable, which is really annoying. Yeah.
Well, how does that make you feel, Levi?
I mean, it doesn't really make me feel anything at all, because it's not doesn't change my opinion on Overwatch, doesn't change my opinion on that character. I'm never gonna play Soldier 76 and be like, "You're in my sights, boy." Like, like I'm actually I might do that tonight on the stream.
Yeah.
No, I don't care, and stop.
Yeah. I think, one thing I saw people talking about over here that they thought it was impactful because he's kind of like the dude bro, like COD, allegory for the game, and making him that. It was like, oh, that was kind of like a poignant thing. I just think it's too little too late. And why would you wait so long to do this? A game that admittedly doesn't have a lot of story if you aren't following all these little things that they do on the side. But
that's where it came to be, right? It's not really shown off in the game. It's just part of their story arc in the comics type of thing, right?
Exactly. Same with Tracer.
Which is fine.
Which is fine. It is fine. Yeah. But don't market it. Like don't come out with that like just because that's what it Is
that what they're doing though? Or is it just it's getting blown up because somebody noticed it?
I think
you're trying to get press from it.
Well, I think they come out with these comics and they and this could have been the intent the entire time with this specific character, but it caught fire because you have a lot of people who are really angry about that because they thought that this, again, as Joe said, is a fictional friggin' cartoon character, and they're like, in my mind he was this, but he's actually this. I'll be honest with you guys, when I play games, I don't want everyone to think that, like, okay, so Jimmy just thinks heteronormatively that everyone he plays is a heterosexual. No, guess what? When I'm playing a video game character, I don't think about it. You know what I do? I play Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. She's a lesbian. You know why? Because I can have her hit on every woman. So she starts being like a machismo, like jerk of a dude. And she's just like, oh, you are the most beautiful person in all the world. I was like, I just said that to somebody else like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, that's what's so funny about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They just own it. They're like, you can do whatever you want with this game. But like, I don't care. It like doesn't, from a gameplay perspective, I'm not thinking if I'm playing like Lara Croft in Tomb Raider, I'm like, does she like women or men? It's like, it doesn't matter. She's trying to survive, man. Like, it's like, it doesn't, I don't care. Like, just, why is this the thing? Give representation its due for sure. But like, either come right up front and say that that's a part of this character, or don't bring it up. Like, doesn't matter. Like, just.
Yeah, especially because like, I mean, it's fine. It's fine to bring it up. It really is, but don't do it for the reason why I think that they're doing it for that reason. And I can't really speak on it, but it seems like they're just trying to market it that way.
Sure. And again, it's a world where a Caucasian straight male doesn't really have a great amount of weight as far as opinions go in this type of regard. So it's nice, Levi, getting your point of view on this, because it's like, I might feel a way about this, but you could have felt completely differently. And it's not like in our Discord, we had some chats about it, and it seemed like the consensus is a little bit more of it's cool that they're doing it, but it's stupid that it's like 2.5 years later. It's like, why not? If it's a diverse cast from the very beginning, just be like, hey, you know what? We've got so much diversity that the people that you don't think are super diverse might be even more diverse than you think, like right away, just be like, there you go.
Bro, I don't know. I probably want to play Soldier 76 as much as I did if I would have known.
It's really funny because I remember reading a fan fiction that Natalie, one of our Legionnaires, did about him actually being gay, but having a relationship with Gabriel Reyes or Reaper. And see, that would be compelling if it was like this guy that they loved each other. Now they like hate each other and try to kill each other. And there's a massive explosion. Like, that is compelling right there. I was like, what? But they didn't play
my mind.
What happens when you play Reaper and Soldier 76 together? What do they say?
They'll say things like, I think Reaper would say things like, you should have killed me when you had the chance. There's like a lot of that, or things like, oh, I'm surprised you survived. Like, it'd be so much better if you're running out there and to be like, it's good to see you. Like, like something like that. That would have been so cool, because you'd have been like, whoa, there's a story there. I want to know about this story, like, as opposed to just, it seems like an afterthought. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't really care. But Yeah, it was a big deal on Twitter, and we had a question. So I don't want the Legionnaires to think we'll shy away from something like this, because I think it's interesting to talk about a little bit. But please leave your comments down below. I'm sure people have opinions and thoughts on this sort of thing, and we're not here to offend anybody. We're just here to just kind of speak our minds and our piece, and hopefully we haven't done too much harm. And hopefully people will still play Soldier 76. I love Soldier. I love that ultimate. I just think about how cheap the auto aim is, and I'm like, I like this character.
And he has a healing ability for not only himself but his teammates.
That's great. I love that. I love that little bit right there, because you're like, okay, I'm a medic now for a second. You're like, everybody heal up on me. Like, yeah. Man, Levi, I'm glad you still play Overwatch, though. That's crazy to me that you're still playing that. That's good.
Jimmy, we gotta go back and play with him sometime.
All right.
We really do.
It's hard for me to go back. It's hard for me to go back. All right. Let's wrap it up here, though. If you guys ever have a question or a topic discussion, kind of like the one we just talked about there, please always tweet us the hashtag Critical Podcast on Twitter. You can tweet at any of us. You can tweet at GoCritical. That's it with a capital G and a capital C. Or you can tweet at me personally. I'm at JimmyGood013. If you'd like to tweet something at Joe, you can tweet at
Lever_627. That's Lever just like Beaver, only with an L.
Excellent. And if you want to tweet at Levi, you can tweet at
I'm at Levi Fletcher.
Excellent. I tried to message the guy who has just at Jimmy Good, and he hasn't been on Twitter for years. And I was like, I'm like, please just give it to me. Give me the name. Anyway, I want to, we'll thank people in just a second. If you want to support this show, one of the ways you can do it is check out our Spreadshirt, where you could get a hat or a shirt or something, right, Joe? You could get some sort of hat or shirt to represent your love.
Just like this one.
Perfect. You're doing it. That boy. Thank you.
That is a sexy hat.
I'm glad you like it. Levi, we're gonna have to get you something.
Too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, or you can check us out over on twitch.tv/Critical Reviews, where I'm streaming Mondays and Friday afternoons, and you can hang out with Levi occasionally on the nights, Wednesday nights, weekends, whatever else, whenever he feels like streaming. Because we're busy guys. He's a busy guy. Yes. But I want to thank a few people who make this show possible. I want to thank This Is Dale for our intro, outro music, and I want to thank the one and only Yoren Evers, who here in 2019 is coming out with a comic. Here's a brief synopsis. Where David opens a mysterious box that transforms his arm into an alien weapon, he at first uses it for good to right the wrongs of his high school. But as more of his body is transformed, he finds that playing God comes with its own set of new, self-destructive perils. Venom, Blue Beetle, Chronicle, all of them together. It's so good. But check him out at Naraj28 or at Jade Circle Art over on Twitter if you want to see some more of his glorious artwork. However, if you'd like to support him financially, support all of us financially, check us out on patreon.com/Critical Reviews. Even $1 will get your face drawn and put into our card game. You're probably seeing Levi's right now. You can see it you're going to get your face in there. I'll give you a couple abilities and stuff. And eventually when we make that card game, it's going to be great. So if you're listening to this show and you're not donating $1, consider it. If you know someone else that might want to, consider that too. Or if you have an enemy and you hate us, you send them our way, because maybe we'll like them and it'll be great. That's my new joke to people. I'm like, well, if you have someone you hate and you hate me, send them over here. Maybe we get along. Yeah. Joe's like, this is the weirdest marketing pitch I've ever heard.
I don't understand.
That's okay, buddy. Marketing's hard. Anyway, thank you, boys, for being on the show. It was a right pleasure. Levi, thanks for joining us back here 2019. It's good to have you. Yeah, I'll let you get off there to go and stream and whatnot. Joe, as always, a pleasure. Thank you. Wearing the merch. What a guy.
Yes,
What a guy. And thank you, everybody, for listening, for watching, all that stuff. Please share us around. That can help a ton, too. Just share us on Twitter or whatever. That helps a lot. Leave us a good review if you're listening to this on iTunes. If you listen to this on iTunes, please tweet us and let us know, because I have no idea if that's still a thing. Anyway, thank you guys so much for stopping by. We'll see you next week. And just remember to adapt and overcome.